Okay, last thing on this thing is to design your initials into it someplace. What I don't want you to do is just write B, D, S. Those are my initials. It needs to make sense with the whole thing. It needs to fit in there with all the perspective. Okay, so what I would do, I'd find a place where I want to put it. I could bring them down here. I could tuck them in someplace. I think that maybe I might like stick them up here, right? Do you have to sit here and watch me do this, my whole initials? I don't think so. But let me just make this one point before I turn off and muscle these things off camera a little bit. As I'm going to try to think about placement. Maybe having a little bit of a margin there, a border. And I'm going to have a similar margin up at the top and maybe down here. Now, because my initials are BS, I usually like to put a D in there in the middle. My middle initial. You know what I'm saying? So I might do 3 letters here. I don't care how many letters you guys use. You could do your entire name. You don't even have to, you could, like, whatever. But what I'm going to do here, I want to, if I'm going to do 3 of them, first of all, I want to think about, like, well, what would a B fit in there? Something like that. And if I want these to have their own, like, I want them to be spaced properly rather than wing that. Again, I'm going to get in there with the diagonals. Why? Let me show you. This takes us back to our thing that we did with the bricks. The reason is that I want them to look like they're the same size going back. So I do the diagonals, find the center. Once I find the center, then I know where to go through to do the D, find the end of the D. Does that make sense? That gives me my next letter, the spacing for the next letter. Okay. Wow. That's starting to feel like this is a little bit vertical, right? I think I need to maybe play with this a little. Like, these two aren't converging quite enough, and this one's converging a little too much. Let me back that off a little. I might have to play with this a little bit off camera just to fix a couple things. Because you know what? That actually looks pretty good for the convergence here. So I'm thinking that this convergence needs to come in a little bit, and if that's the case, what that does is it changes where my diagonal is, and most likely it'll change where this is. So I need to fix that stuff before moving on. Okay? I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll talk with you in a minute.